This week, coming up from the ashes.
Dead by Daylight. I really have nothing else to say because my skin crawls every time I mention it. So,
You're drawn into it.
you made me the host, so I don't really, I have to trudge forward in the name of science.
Go for it.
I don't exactly know what we're gonna talk about. Really, this is just well, I guess whether it's lore or gameplay mechanics, maps, or
I'm
just
just here
how
to
much
talk
we
about
hate
how
the
bad
damn
it is.
game. Yeah, how much we hate the fucking game. We're just here to discuss for however long we can, drag it out, prolong our suffering.
Welcome to Dead by Daylight.
Hello, everybody. My name is Arson Clown, and welcome to From the Ashes podcast. The date is May 13th. I already said I'm the host, and I am here with my two buddies, Flerp and Phoenix. Introduce yourselves really quick.
Hi, I'm Flerp.
Fuckers.
And we are here today with a special guest, possible replacement, Al.
Thanks, Arson.
Sir!
Judging from the title, you should already know what we're here for. Yeah, go ahead, Phoenix. I'm sorry. I'm just, I'm a little high on caffeine.
Did you notice I introduced myself as Flerp? I don't know if you heard that.
Oh, well, okay. Phoenix, you're Flerp, and Flerp, you're Phoenix.
Sweet. I get to be the coolest person ever.
I'm gonna go look at my penis.
I'm in a band.
You're in an okay band.
I've heard you. It's good. It's good stuff. All right. Anyways, continue, host.
Yeah, obvious. The title already gave it away. We're here to discuss Phoenix's favorite game of all time, Dead by Daylight. I really have nothing else to say because my skin crawls every time I mention it. So,
You're drawn into it.
you made me the host, so I don't really, I have to trudge forward in the name of science.
Go for it.
I don't exactly know what we're gonna talk about. Really, this is just well, I guess whether it's lore or gameplay mechanics, maps, or
I'm
just
just here
how
to
much
talk
we
about
hate
how
the
bad
damn
it is.
game. Yeah, how much we hate the fucking game. We're just here to discuss for however long we can, drag it out, prolong our suffering, because I don't know. Anybody want to go first on how terrible this game is?
Well, I
wouldn't say it's terrible.
I have an idea. We could all discuss on how we started playing.
That is a complicated question to answer.
Well, not for me.
Not for me.
Yeah, I really have nothing to say about this game, Phoenix. What is there to talk about when the whole experience is the same thing over and over again?
I mean, look, I've built an amazing community from this game. Like the majority of my community came from this game. And I've loved every minute of it, and I've hated every minute of it. However, I'll say this real quick, and then if anybody else wants to follow suit on this, I'll go ahead and give you that time because Arson is the host. But I first started playing this game. It was in between Freddy and the Saul DLCs.
I thought you were about to say
Amanda?
Saul.
Amanda?
Yes. So,
yes, the Better Call Saul DLC.
that's funny. But so, anyways, it was around November 2017, and I started playing this because it went on sale on Steam for the Black Friday sale. And my buddy, which I've talked about before, you guys know who he is, this Lone Marine. My buddy sent me this game and was like, take a look at this. I think you'd like this. And so I bought it and I started playing it. Well, it scared the ever living daylights out of me at first. Like okay, it didn't really scare me, but it was like I was real cautious. Like I actually used Claudette first,
We're
and
really
Ah,
scary
you were a
person, though.
blendette because you were scared.
I didn't know that though. I didn't know what that was.
Hide in the grass.
So I literally
Wow.
would walk around the edges like I was doing like wall duty, and but after that he sent me another one. He was like, "Oh, check this out, Friday the 13th." And I was like, dude, that looks so much better. So I got that, and then I just shelved DBD. And that's Friday the 13th is the game that actually scared me. And I'm not scared of this kind of stuff, but this I was like by myself, and in a room darkened, and just there on my laptop playing this game, and it scared the ever living crap out of me. And I was just like, nope. After a while, I stopped playing it. And then I met a bunch of people and we started playing GTA. And we spawned from that saying, hey, is anybody interested in playing Dead by Daylight? And I was like, wait, I think I have that game. And that's how it started. And we started playing and I never looked back.
It was a split-second decision that shaped your entire future.
Yeah, it was.
For better or for worse.
Yeah. So I got it about a year or so, a little over a year after it came out, year and a half, something like that. So I was a little late to the party, but what I really liked about it is because they had Ash in there. So I bought Ash, and then I realized really, really quick that I'm not an Ash main. Like it was funny the way he's like, whoa, and does all the other stuff, but it was like, no. I found Nia, and she's my love.
Okay, your love story aside, how about we fast forward a bit to some more interesting bits? Got
Okay.
any stories about that?
Just
Before
about-
we joined, anyways.
Well, I don't know. I think Flerp's story of how he met me is really good.
Because you fucking team wiped my entire team, but you weren't a dick about it, so I came into your stream to be rude to you, but then you were a total sweetie poo, so I couldn't.
And the rest is history. And
The rest is history.
for the ones that know me know I main Doctor. And when I play Doctor, because I feel like there's so much toxicity in this community.
You're too nice.
Oh, that's why I play good Doctor. But I'm nice until I'm not, okay? But I still don't tunnel. I don't camp. I don't slug really. I play the game. I go after one and then after the other. And you know what? Almost every time that I am forced to kill because people in my stream vote for bad Doctor, I wipe the whole party. And Flerp was one of them.
Also I was also playing with one of my buddies who's known for bullying killers. So we weren't exactly being nice, so we deserved everything.
And now look, I don't claim to be a good killer. I'm a survivor main 100%. But I can play killer. I love to play Doctor, the Wraith. I don't play him as much anymore. Spirit, and as of late, Chucky. Those are the ones I usually. If I'm going to say I main those four. So, but mainly it's Doctor. But stories before you guys came along, man, we used to have so much fun. The friend that got me back into DBD is no longer with us. He unfortunately lost his life. It was 2 years in January, and we had a lot of amazing moments between him and I and a couple other people that would play. I met Maya through somewhat DBD, but and we met so many people through that it was just amazing. It was amazing to meet these people, genuine people. Now, don't get me wrong, I've met some horrible people through this game too. But if it wasn't me introducing DBD to my friend, Confused Zombie, I don't know if I would have ever met you, Al.
No, probably not.
Yeah. And
I didn't even know what Dead by Daylight was until I met Confused Zombie.
Yeah. So that right there, that tells you, like, I've met a lot of people from his community that has merged into my community as well. And I'm so thankful because, we're all of like one mind. We know how our play styles are, how much fun it is to play together. Like the other day, Al and I were playing together, and dude, we were killing it, like
No pun intended.
no pun intended. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun. And that's the one thing I can say about this game is what keeps drawing me back. And look, I just hit 2,900 hours on Steam playing DBD, and I keep coming back because of the love I have for my community. And how I know I can always find someone to play with. All I have to do is start my stream and play a couple killer matches, and I will have a full party to go. And that's a big thing to me.
And people waiting.
Right, and people waiting. That's the thing is it's a lot of fun to do that stuff. And I don't know. I really love that game, and I hate that game all in one because there is a lot of toxicity, which I know we're going to get to here shortly. I'm just trying to show the good points of this game because it's all about, I'm going to be like Dom. It's all about family. Dom and Toretto. Yeah.
Family that you've built in this toxic fog.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
Fallout.
You're
Fallout.
Yeah, you're like a bastion in there. Like you've made an entire fortress. That's your community right there. You're keeping the killers out. You're like a what you call it? That typical that trope where like you're one of the last bastions of humanity.
Yeah.
And you've built like this large wall or whatever to keep people out or the monsters and stuff. And it grows every day.
It does.
Much like my below.
Unlike oh my gosh, I just got it's But yeah, I mean, what else can I say about it on my end? I'm sure I'll talk more good stuff about it and bad stuff, but that's my story. Like I have grown to love this game so much because of the people. And I also hate the game so much because of the people. But my love supersedes the hate.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff. I imagine the rest of us don't have as gracious as an upbringing to this game as you. So do one of you?
I've only been playing for like a year and a half, so it's really not.
Flerp, I've owned this game since June of 2016. I bought it when it came out.
He is an OG.
That was a very poor financial decision.
So between two Steam accounts, one of which I gave to my little brother as a Christmas present because my computer died, and I was like, I'm always going to be a piece of shit. I'm never going to be able to afford a new one. So I gave my Steam account to my little brother, and then ended up eventually getting a new PC. So my current Dead by Daylight playtime is 452 hours on Steam. I probably enjoyed like 2 of them. But this game, I have a very, very, very strong love-hate relationship with this game. I love Dead by Daylight. It's one of my absolute favorite games, if I'm being honest. But I can't stand fucking playing it. And the reason being is the devs are so fucking, they pander to their fan. They pander to the players so much that it just constantly leads to an unbalanced game. I don't think that this game has ever been perfectly balanced because every time it gets close, it becomes harder for somebody. And then that person that it becomes harder for goes, I fucking hate it here. This game's killer-sided. This game's survivor-sided. And it's just, it's annoying because then the devs are like, oh, well, let's fix that for you. And it's like, They just continue to ruin the game, and I hate having to learn a new play style every other week.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I do absolutely love Dead by Daylight, if I'm being honest. I mean, it's brought me some great friends. I mean, look at you.
Wait, we're friends? I'm kidding.
This is my last podcast.
Flerp's one of my besties. But I agree with you on that. Like, the devs really do try to change everything just to suit a certain side. And this is where having a certain someone here would have been really good, because I'm about to say this, because 9 times out of 10, the side that they always try to cater to is the killer side. And that's
not entirely true.
There we go. At least I got a little bit of a... Now, they cater to the... Okay, how about this? Maybe not 9 times out of 10, but about 7 times out of 10, it's more killer sided than it is survivor sided. Because
Maybe
Seen
6.5.
the last 4 updates?
well, yeah, look what they've changed. Look at the maps they changed. Have you played on Haddonfield?
I understand the map changes, but you gotta look at the perk changes.
Well, that's true too, but they absolutely destroyed Haddonfield, and that's absolutely was a survivor map, and now it's 100% killer map.
They had a good they had a good 2 months where Made for This was the absolute most ridiculous perk in the game of Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, and I never really used that though. I always stick to my own perks, so I didn't know that.
Yeah, Made for This was absolutely fucking broken.
So here's a little something about Al, guys, since you don't know who he is very much. Al has been playing this game for a little over a year, and he is one of the most knowledgeable people I know about the perks and the game itself. Like 100%. If I have a question about a build, I can go to him and he'd be like, "Oh, try this," and he knows exactly. Like I'm not that good. I don't remember all the perks. I stay in my bubble. but Al, man, he's a freaking, he's just amazing at all the, all of it, when it comes to knowledge of that stuff. And granted, I know that's from watching a lot of videos, but still
Watching videos, playing, looking
Yeah.
at different killer builds. I'll get all the different, kind of thought processes into my head, and then I'll figure out what best to do. Yeah, I play with a lot of different builds, and mostly the time it's like fun builds for me. Like I know if I'm playing competitively, I can play a different build and it'll work better. But most of the time, I play with friends, so it's just like fun stuff to do.
Yeah. Yep, and that's
But and if we're thinking about like if we're going back to the killer thing, like you gotta think about the fact of Pain Resonance, right? Pain Resonance now is a good perk. I would say it's a good perk. It's not an unbeatable perk. It's not a great perk. It's a good perk. Beforehand, it was an absolute amazing perk because beforehand there was no 4 charges on Pain Res. You could just Pain Res the entire game.
right.
Now there's only 4 charges on a Pain Res. Different perks that they have, changed throughout the years. Again, I can't really contest to the 6 years before I started playing, and a lot of the things that you have told me about different things changing, like hatch changing, and all that other good stuff changing. And I can only attest to what's happened since I've started playing.
Mm-hmm.
And since I've started playing, it went from a more of a survivor game because survivors were getting out more often and killers were on the losing side, and you were losing a lot of killers playing in Dead by Daylight, to what it is now. And there's more killers because it's more of a, I will say this last patch was 100% killer effective.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that you brought up a good point. Look, and I'm not against like killers, I'm not against coming against strong killers, like Pain Res is a good perk. It's a pain in the neck, but yeah, I mean you adapt to it. And when you're able to do that stuff, that's what we do, is we adapt. And when it comes to like new characters and new perks and stuff like that, I get it that some of them actually, like, apparently the devs don't do their work, and some of them kind of like counteract each other or make things stronger and stuff like that, and not what they intended to do, so they change stuff up to make it a little more balanced. I get that. But I also get Flerp's argument was like, dude, just let us play the game. Let's play it as we're supposed to be intended to. And
Yeah, I get that too.
Yeah, don't listen to the community so much and just let them complain. This is like one of the best games, with one of the worst communities when it comes to that. But, just let it.
You also got to
play.
look at behavior on that then too.
But you also have to look at the fact that this game has been out for 8 years.
8 years,
and
yeah.
I would argue that it's still just as popular, if not even more popular now. It's a game that continues to hold everything that it has. And if behavior just realized that the community's not going anywhere, they're going to keep bitching, but they're not going to go anywhere because this game, number one, a lot of people have made it into their entire livelihood. I know some people that this game is their entire personality. But if behavior would just realize that, yes, people are going to complain, but every time people complain doesn't mean they're going to quit if they don't get what they want. I feel like the game could go in a better direction if the devs just... Like, I can understand complaining about things like, God, what was the perk we were just talking about?
Res?
That was... No, before that. Made for This. Like, Made for This, yes, it was broken because of the fact that it gave you that... what was it? It gave you
extra
like a
endurance.
3%. It gave you like a 3% endurance boost just
And
for
haste.
running. Then they changed it to where, they added in cons to it, but the thing is they also added pros to it. But I feel like Dead by Daylight, sometimes I feel like they just change perks around just to keep the game interesting. But, like, I'm one of those people that I was a big fan of the old school Dead Hard, but also, people got really shitty because Dead Hard's overpowered, even though it's really not if you know how to bait a Dead Hard properly.
Mm-hmm.
But people didn't want to, like, any other video game on the planet, if people bitched this much, their response would be, okay, get good.
Suck it up. Yeah, suck it up.
But,
Suck
yeah,
it up,
like,
yeah.
it that sucks, get good, figure it out. Dead by Daylight is the only game that I've ever played that if people complain enough, they'll get their way.
I don't think it's not even just like the complaining. It's because, complaining from people like us, they're not going to give a shit about. They're going to look at us and be like, who cares? It's the people who are, they're getting all the attention on Dead by Daylight. People who got 2, 4, 5, 6,000 people watching their stream play Dead by Daylight, and they're the ones complaining about certain, perks or certain aspects of the game. There's not enough lockers. There's not enough this. There's not enough that. This map is way too overpowered for survivors, or this map's way too overpowered for killers, and all this other good stuff. And they're the ones that, incite the revolt against behavior, and then they change stuff.
I agree.
It just, at that point, it just goes from baby rage to entitled baby rage. But,
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, we get it. You're a big name streamer. You got lucky. A bunch of people watched you. But, like, I know players that could play circles around you. You just somehow hit the lucky jackpot. So now you have some kind of a say. But while other people that play the game just as well, if not better, and know more about said game, they're the ones that just kind of sit on the back burner and go, okay, why did this need to be changed?
Yeah, like on the last patch, I don't know if anyone noticed, but what's her face? She does corrupt. Plague got a huge nerf.
And
I don't know if anyone noticed that. It wasn't anywhere in the patch notes. Didn't say anything about it, but behavior said this is exactly how Plague was supposed to be when she first came out. I'm like, dude, what, 6-7 years ago? Like, y'all didn't change it for 6 years, and now you decide to do it on this last patch?
Yeah, Plague's been out forever.
Yeah. So apparently the new change for Plague is whenever she has her power, if she gets stunned in any way, she loses her power. That's apparently how she was supposed to be when she first came out. It's not how she was for the last 6 years.
That's stupid.
Yeah, and see with that they have all these other killers, that they've changed over the years. Like a good example of that is Freddy. Freddy has been nerfed and buffed and nerfed and buffed and like all over the place. You know,
Yeah,
Either way,
Freddy, I
he's the
feel like
worst
is
killer.
just in limbo.
yeah,
He's the worst killer in the game, though.
yeah. But early on when I first started playing, he was he was brutal to face. Like you never survived hardly at all when you faced against Freddy until they nerfed him. And and then he's been back and forth with different things, and they just can't keep one thing with them, and because that's the way they are. What about you, Arson? What kind of things can you talk about when it comes to Dead by Daylight? Because you've been awful quiet.
Oh, I was just kind of letting you guys go on your tirade.
Oh, I want you to be a part of this tirade because you
Yeah, we're
loathe
kind of
this
just talking
game.
about
Yeah.
some stuff.
Well, quick bit about Freddy there. I miss old Freddy. I miss Freddy before the rework. I feel like his power was more unique in his sense than just another generic lay down, slow down traps or fake pallets.
You're not
We
wrong.
already have Trapper, we already have Hag, we already have Doc for the pallets. You just give Freddy this basic blood slowdown trap and teleportation. And the dream world is basically just whatever. Who really
Yeah.
cares? That sucked. I miss old Freddy. And the fact that he got I was excited about his rework too, which is the real shame of it. I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, I used to play Freddy all the time, and now he's getting his rework. I'm gonna play him so much more, and it was alright at first. The more I played though, the more I realized that it was just they made him ununique. They made
Right.
him bland, like every other killer. Well, not every other killer. Every killer's unique in their own sense, but they made him like a For Honor character. They just copy pasted abilities and moves and just slapped it onto Freddy, and that was it.
And the
So
bad thing is about Freddy though is, I wish we would have got the OG Freddy, not the 2010 Freddy.
Robert
Because
Englund Freddy would have been fantastic. I would still be playing
absolutely,
him even after the rework. I don't care.
because we wouldn't have no
Well,
Quentin in there. We'd have a Nancy in there, guaranteed.
I have a buddy who still to this day mains Freddy, and that man has clapped my cheeks as Freddy so many times it's not even funny. Like,
Yeah, I mean, you can take one of the worst killers and put, significantly overpowered perks on him and still do pretty well. As long as you know how to loop and, mind game survivors, you can pretty much do well with any
The right build, the
killer.
right circumstances,
And
and
that's
as
true.
long as you know what you're doing. But yeah, that's the bit I have about Freddy. I guess I should rewind to when I first, I guess, discovered Dead by Daylight. I believe it was a long time ago, and I didn't have a PC, so I didn't get it launch day. I was poor little clown, had no PC to play good games on. I was a pleb stuck on my PlayStation.
Poor clown.
But I saw a bunch of people on YouTube playing Dead by Daylight. I was like, man, this looks like so much fun. I've always been a fan of like the cat and mouse type of chase style gameplay. And I guess that's because back then when I was a kid, I used to play like hide and seek tag all the time. And breaking it down really quick, I played this with my relatives, like my cousins. Basically, we're out on the street, and so the seeker stands in the middle, and we run out all throughout the neighborhood, and the goal is to reach the main point. We basically select a point where we have to, you know, regroup, and once we get there, that's basically the safe zone. The seeker can't catch us no more. So we spread out throughout the neighborhood, and the seekers come and try to find us. And if they get caught, they join. Whatever. That was my love for these types of games. And when I saw Dead by Daylight, I was like, damn, I really want to be a part of this, but I can't because I don't have a PC and I'm a loser. So when I heard later on that they were going to port it to consoles, I was ecstatic, excited. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was like magic. But if only I knew the absolute turbulent ride that I was in for. until I met you guys. Because until I met Phoenix, and which wasn't on Dead by Daylight, by the way. I'm
That's
one of
true.
the few. I'm one of the few outside outside of
Yeah.
Dead by Daylight that you know you played Dead by Daylight. So I was like, I have it installed, but I haven't played it in like since lucky guess like I forgot, but it was a long while since I've
Mhm.
played Dead by Daylight until I met you guys. And my experience with it at first was I played it, and I'm just gonna say it right now: a game is at its best when it first releases. This is the case, especially with games like Friday the 13th. I
Especially that
when
game.
when Friday the 13th first came out, it was an absolute blast. The
Oh
one
my
thing I
gosh.
will always love Friday for above Dead by Daylight is how much of a jackass you can act in front of everybody because it had voice proximity and you could even
Yes.
talk as Jason. You have radios that you could talk with each other over the map. It was so much fun, like just running around talking to people trying to escape or just mess around. Like you could be it's like the same case with like Lethal Company and like other games like Content Warning and stuff like that. You could be having your own adventure with like a group of people, and somebody else could be experiencing something completely different on the other side. Like that was the magic of Friday that you don't get in Dead by Daylight because you're confined to one area where you have to repair gens and get out. And unfortunately, you don't have proximity chat, so there's that.
Can
But
we just talk about the worst game ever made, which was Prop Hunt? No, Prop Night.
Prop Night.
I don't even know
Did
what
Okay,
y'all
that
that's
ever
is.
trash.
play that? It was like Dead by Daylight Prop Hunt, and killers were severely powerful, and the skill checks were so stupid that like it was almost unplayable. And that was supposed to be the quote unquote Dead by Daylight killer. And I think I think they stopped supporting it like 6 months after it came out.
That's the thing, though, is there's been so many games that's been supposed to be the DBD killer, and not one of them
Never
has
happened.
done it at all.
Never happened.
The newest one was supposed to be what's
VHS.
Dragon Ball the Breakers.
Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball. You're not wrong.
VHS
They
was,
really went for that approach. I can't believe it.
but
That was
VHS was one
terrible.
of them. But the one I'm talking about is what is it? Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah,
That game
Texas
is
Chainsaw Massacre.
phenomenal. If I'm being completely
Yeah,
honest,
people are still playing the mess out of that.
I had more fun playing that than I've ever had playing Dead by Daylight, but it needs more content.
Yeah. But
Yeah, that's the thing.
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
that's
go
the
ahead.
thing that Dead by Daylight has over everything else. It has more content. Granted, it has fuck all for modes, so I mean, if they do a game that has more modes than DBD, well, I mean, there's that. That's the one thing that any asymmetrical game can have over Dead by Daylight is modes.
Yeah.
Behavior's trying
But
to
when it
change that
comes,
too. I mean, the
yeah, they
mode that
tried to
just came
change it
out,
with like
the
the little
giant mode and all that good stuff. Yeah.
the modifiers, My Little Oni, and all that
My
stuff.
Little Oni was so crazy.
They
Yeah,
are
that was a fun one.
branching out. I will give them that. They are
Yeah.
branching out a bit, but it's not enough.
Yeah.
How many people since launch have been asking for a 2 killers mode?
Oh yeah. Well, there's a mod for that, but yeah.
Yeah, how many people have modded it?
There's a mod, and before there was like a glitch in custom games where you could have 2 killers. Like,
Man,
it's all there, but I guess there are complications, or the devs just really don't want to do it.
yeah. Well, I
And
mean,
it's whatever.
I would like to say, if you got a good thing, don't break it, but they break it on a daily when they change things all the time. But neither here or there. I want to go back to what you were talking about with Friday the 13th. So the whole proxy chat thing, I don't think that would work in DBD at all.
No, never worked.
But for some reason it worked in Friday the 13th, and I'd get these killers. It was so funny because usually I'd get teamed up because I was the only one that played it. at the time. I'd get teamed up with people that are a part of a group. And so the person playing, and if you guys don't know, it's like, it's not guaranteed you're going to be a survivor or like a camp counselor or Jason. You've just got to ready up and like put your, it's kind of like Ghostbusters. So
Like you select your preference.
yes, you select your preference, and if you become Jason, then great. But these guys were together, I know they were, and this dude that got Jason was so freaking hilarious. He was going around saying all kinds of crazy stuff, and it was just it was just so funny. It'd be like me getting back there and like using my goofy voice as Jason. like the dude was hilarious, and he killed me, but it was still funny. But that's the thing though, is that game had an appeal until people started hacking the crap out of it because of all the litigation and stuff that Friday the 13th was held up in court for so long, that the devs for that just kind of like put it on the back burner and then just never have really done anything with it. And because of that, it became a broke game. And you know, people, the last time I tried to play it, I went into a match that was already in progress, and I was in it for like 3 minutes, maybe 4, and then the match ended, and then I got like 1,000,000 experience points. I was like,
oh.
You gotta be kidding me. Like, after that, I was like, yeah, I'm done. I uninstalled it. I haven't played it since. Like,
I sometimes wonder how Friday would be if the lawsuit never happened.
It would probably be given
Probably
DVD
be a good
better
game.
run.
It would have given DVD a solid run for their money. Not for
Yes.
long, but it definitely give them hell for a bit. I know people were waiting for the Jason X chapter,
Yeah.
and they were even supposed to have a different game mode where like it was like a Guess Who.
Ooh,
It was
really?
basically Among Us. That was basically it. Like one of the counselors was the murder.
Friday the 13th Among Us edition.
Yeah, one of the counselors was the murder, and then like everybody had to like deduct everything. So like they were planning more game modes. They were planning more killers. I know people were speculating, oh, they were gonna have Freddy in there too, but like, I feel like that's reaching it. But who knows? Crossovers definitely could have been a thing. That would have been awesome. I would have loved to see this game grow.
Yeah.
It would have been an awesome alternative and cooldown from Dead by Daylight. And no, I'm not saying that Friday is perfect either. It does have its fair share of scumbags and that don't make the game fun. But you get an entire group of friends to fill out a lobby. Best hours I've ever spent in my life.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade those hours for anything in the world. Those were the funnest hours of my life, playing full friend lobbies in Friday the 13th.
I mean, and see,
Phenomenal.
that's the thing. We could still do that. You know, we could get like 5 people to fill out a lobby and just do a private thing and play that. You know, and that'd be fun. But
yeah, the problem is if they show up.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is like that's Friday the 13th. Like, I'm telling you, it had some of the most gruesome kills I've ever seen in a game. Like,
Oh, it was so fun though.
Oh my gosh, it literally.
I love the people that acted out the deaths, especially with their gurgles.
But it was a solid game, and now you know all we are now is sitting here waiting for the day that Jason actually gets released in Dead by Daylight, which, you know, everybody keeps speculating that it's going to be this year, but last year people were speculating it was going to be last year, and and stuff like that, because the lawsuit's over, and now they're just saying it's a matter of time before Jason gets released in the Dead by Daylight. But I feel like he's never going to get here.
I just want Jason to come back. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I miss the hockey wearing guy.
Yeah.
You know, and the last piece of content that we really got with him was like more in a fan movie, and that was Never Hike Alone. But
really?
that was great too. Yeah, they made like a little like short films.
Yeah.
Called Never Hike Alone. They even made a sequel, I think. and it actually has the original actor for Tommy Jarvis playing the ambulance driver guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they brought back some old actors. Like it's basically like a love letter to the series.
Yeah.
Like they brought like a whole bunch of references from like the kills and all that stuff.
I'd have to look that up.
Yeah, it's free if you want to look it up. Never Hike Alone.
Never Hike Alone.
Absolutely fantastic. They even did a kill count on it. It was really good.
Huh.
But no, yeah, I just miss Jason. But as for if he comes into Dead by Daylight, I feel like we're quite a ways away from that ever happening for a while, unless I'm proven wrong, and he just gets dropped this year somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Well, a lot of
you know,
people have been speculating the next chapter will probably be something like Friday Nights.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of that, let's go into that for a second. The anniversary's right around the corner, and there's talks of there's talks of Castlevania Dracula coming to DVD, and which is not a far fetched because what Castlevania is, it is Konami, right? So you've got Konami property in DVD. So yeah. So that being said, it could, like the Silent Hill chapter and stuff like that, we could get, because there's a lot of speculation he's coming and it's soon. And then there's a lot of speculation that Vecna and Stranger Things is coming out with a new chapter, which is
Vecna was also part of the teaser or in the thought processes too.
Yes.
If they add Castlevania Dracula to Dead by Daylight and they don't make the defense against him whipping his ass with Simon Belmont's whip, I don't want anything to do with it. Like, I want to chase after him and just whip him in the buttocks. Like, that should be an option.
That's the counter to his power.
that's the actual perk. Whip him.
Yeah, he just turn out he just has a whip kink.
But yeah, I mean, but there's that, and there's like so many other like that, like, okay, so Candyman has been rumored to come out for the last like 3 years, and so everybody wants Jeepers Creepers, but we all know that's never gonna happen. It's not. Let's face it, it's not. It's a good killer, but with all the negativity around, the writer and everything, and even though it's sold off, yeah, it's not gonna happen. But I do see Candyman. I mean, Candyman could happen. We got that. We've got, like I said, the Vecna that they were teasing, that they were talking about. They were saying that was gonna, not be the Vecna from Stranger Things, but the Vecna from actual like Dungeons and Dragons. And so there's all this stuff, rumors going around. I listened to this one guy. It's like the only DVD YouTube channel I ever watch, and the guy's name is Schmuggles. And he's actually very knowledgeable. He's got some really good insight to it. But yeah, there's a lot of rumors going around. Who do you guys think is going to get released for the like, in your opinion, who do you think is going to be coming out for the anniversary? Do you think it's going to be licensed?
I think it's going to be a character called, from what I've read and what I speculate also, I think it's a character called the Mad Designer.
The Mad Designer.
Mm-hmm.
So is there, I mean, because, for the anniversary, it's going to be a whole chapter. It's going to be a map, a survivor, a killer. So,
well, yeah, you gotta think about how, a bunch of years ago when Blight first came out, they had a Blighted event for 3 years straight before Blight came out.
Yeah.
This is the third year in a row that they'll have a Twisted Masquerade event. So it's probably going to be someone who is in corroboration with masks.
So you think it's not going to be a licensed killer? It's going to be an original?
No, I don't think so. I think it'll be a killer that they have made themselves.
It'd be the Phantom of the Opera.
Basically.
The Phantom of the Opera.
It's going to be the Gerard Butler version. He's going to run around and fucking do that guttural fucking singing he did from the movie.
Yeah, but then you're going to get people like you that's going to want to get worried by him.
That's fair.
So, but yeah, what about you, Flerp? What do you think's going to be the release for the upcoming anniversary?
I would like to see a new licensed killer, but at the same time, I feel like Dead by Daylight does better when they create their own, versus when they just give us something.
Yeah.
Like when
What do you
they
think of the
finally
unknown?
just give us a licensed killer. I always feel like they come out kind of lackluster compared to a lot of the other things that we get.
Give me an example.
Like, I don't think like I feel like Alien was like it was cool that we got them, but like I am a lot less terrified of Alien than I am of like the Dredge or the newest character. What the hell is that thing that they just released?
The
Unknown.
The unknown.
Yeah, that thing. I absolutely the fuck not.
He just wants.
That-
I actually put unknown. I actually put unknown and the alien kind of in the same category.
I don't know. Unknown makes me shit my pants. Maybe it's just because of like the character model, but it's terrifying.
Well, it doesn't help that he's extremely OP right now.
The character
I mean,
itself
personally,
is the character itself is good. I know they were trying
Yeah.
to go with the analog horror route, and I love that. I love analog horror. The problem is his ability. The teleportation,
And the
like
and
his
the
clones,
cooldown.
that's perfect. But like I don't like the grenade launcher. It
Yeah.
I
just
think his ability is fine. I think the cooldown of the ability needs to be
That's
increased.
that's my biggest issue with it is the cooldown.
Oh,
Like,
where he just shoots cummies at you? Fuck that.
it's like every 10
Yeah.
seconds it re-ups basically, and it's like, geez.
Yeah, he can get his power back before you can look at him and get the circle off your head.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's a 10-second Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's the
that's
point.
the
I
problem.
mean, that's the whole point of the thing.
Like, I mean, he's got that random drop, which isn't that random because like if you play him enough, you probably know about
I
the
mean, you can
timer.
actually stall it. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
stall it.
Yeah. So that stuff like that, I played him in the PTB, and I don't know. I thought like, man, he's really good, and I could see him becoming one of my main killers. And then after playing him for a little bit, I was like, you know what? No, he is not my doctor. I just couldn't. And after that, I haven't really touched that dude.
I will say
But-
his perks have given another thought process on the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's something else, I tell you.
I think that's the problem with a lot of killers. Like their aesthetics are great, but a lot of them just miss the mark when it comes to abilities. I don't know how to feel about unknowns, if I'm being honest. Again, the clones, the teleportation, as sometimes unfair as they can be, because sometimes, again, with a lot of killers, if you get the right map and your ability's in the right place, you got a huge advantage. But like, I still don't understand the grenade launcher.
Yeah, that's like the way it ricochets off of things too is just kind of, it's just, there's a lot to that. But
He's kind of like a mixture of a few different.
yeah,
And that's my problem. It's just a mixture. It's another projectile killer.
right. So yeah,
think
Yeah, I
we
mean, the
gotta-
most hated
absolutely agree.
projectile killer I have in the game is Trickster. I absolutely hate Trickster. No matter who I'm playing against, whoever is holding Trickster, I will literally just kill myself.
that buff, dude, that they
That's
gave
me
him-
with RPD.
Oh yeah, I know that buff that they did with the Trickster. This recent buff that they did was just completely ridiculous. Like I get it that he wasn't like the strongest killer, but he
He was a very good killer, though.
he was, but now he's just absolutely like.
I'm just a blade.
I mean, I'll give you that. He's not an S tier killer, but he was still a good killer.
Right, but with his buffs that they did to him, it's literally projected him up higher than what he should be.
Yeah, he's still not a a top tier, super top tier killer, but he's up there.
Right. Yeah, he is. Especially when you get people constantly, it seems like, okay, I'm not saying all tricksters are toxic, but most tricksters I face are toxic. Like they totally tunnel. Like that one that we got, I was with Al, and I think we were on Haddonfield. I'm pretty sure that was you that was in there. And he just absolutely tunneled either you or Wolfie, one of you two, out of the match.
I mean, let's get real. Whenever I play, I get tunneled constantly.
You do. I don't know. And what's weird is because Al doesn't stream, so like he
I'm
doesn't
playing with
have
3
a
other
TTV.
TTVers, and I'm the one that gets tunneled.
Right. It's so crazy, but yeah, it's just something. It's just something else. But yeah, there's been so many changes in this game, and I'm really hoping that they do come out with the new Stranger Things, because I'd love to see Eddie come into Stranger Things. That'd be really cool. I liked Eddie. They also
Eddie was great.
Right, and then they talked about the map, that they were going to actually do an upside down map, and that would have been amazing. I would have loved to seen that. Hawkins is something else, I'll tell you that. But but anyways,
I actually like that.
We don't talk about Hawkins.
What were you saying, Al?
I actually like that map.
Okay, what the funny thing
You're
is
to be at an impasse.
the funny thing is I couldn't stand that map when we had it, and then they took it away, and I was like, man, I miss it. And then when they brought it back, I was like, yay, for like one match. After that, I was like, oh yeah, I remember why I didn't like this map.
I don't miss it at all. I never missed it. If they took
there's
Hawkins,
plenty of
they took
places to run a
Hawkins and
killer on that
RPD.
map.
Yeah, no, if they took Hawkins and RPD, I wouldn't have complained.
Yeah. Well, and
that's funny. I like both of those maps.
I know you do. But that's the thing is, they've done a lot of changes to all these different maps that have really messed with how things go. Like, I mean, like, again, I'm gonna say this because it seems like every time, the Ire of Crows, for instance. The first time I played on Ire of Crows, that, like, the first run of Ire of Crows was a very good map. It was literally like, it was a balanced map, but it was probably more survivor bias. And then they take it away.
Still survivor bias.
There's no way.
100%. Still survivor bias.
They shrunk that thing so much.
It's because it was the largest map on the game.
Yeah, and that would have been great to have a couple maps that, that are nice to have, like that. We have a bunch of smaller maps, have a large map. And yeah, I get it on the killer side. I get it, because a large map means you could be spread out all over the place. And how are you going to get all those hooks? I get that, and then that's when the tunneling and camping comes in and this and that, because, the killer feels like that they're pressured into doing that.
There has to be a way for them to win.
Right. And I get that 100%. But the thing is like again, they coddle to the people so much that it makes it to where they change things that shouldn't be changed. I really am upset about Haddonfield. Haddonfield is one of my favorite maps. Now, as a killer, if I play Doctor, I think Haddonfield would be extremely good for me, because they shrunk that thing by a lot. They took away every single house that was not accessible, and and it made it a whole lot shorter. But I really believe, I've never tested this, but I really believe my Doctor would flourish big time on Haddonfield.
I think that's also
something we could test out,
another problem. Since a lot of killers play different, some have high mobility. Nurse, Blight can travel, Hillbilly can travel the map in the span of a couple seconds. Other killers, like Freddy, Dredge, they got teleportation, so they can cover that pretty easily as well. But other killers, Ghostface, Chucky, and all that stuff, it's just they have no mobility. They gotta run around.
And again,
So
what are the most killers that you actually see?
Yeah, but the problem is the size difference in the maps. Then some killers are way stronger than others in those aspects. So they shrunk Haddonfield. Stupid move, by the way. So they could accommodate those killers. And now the problem is that the killers that already had no problem at all have an even bigger advantage because, well, they don't have to really micromanage their abilities. All they have to do is just go from one side to the other, and if there's no one there, then
There,
they can just immediately backtrack back to where they were,
there
and then
are
they can
ways to
just start.
counter it.
Yeah, there are ways to counter it, but for like inexperienced players and newcomers or solo queuers, that's a problem. And believe me when I
You know,
say, before I met you
I'll agree
guys,
with the
I
solo
solo
queue.
queued a lot.
Yeah.
But that's enough of the tirade. Do you see that coming in through the fog, Phoenix?
What is that?
I don't know. You tell me. I'm blind. I'm not wearing my glasses.
Oh my gosh, I think we're all getting sucked into the fog. Well, we're gonna take a quick break while we figure this out, and we'll be right back.
This holiday season comes a toy you'll simply die for. Your new best friend is back with his signature stripes and lifelike eyes. This good guy is always ready for some fun. You'll want to keep an eye on him. You never know what trouble he'll get into next. If you lose track of him, don't fret. He'll always find his way back to you. Bring home your friend till the end. 'Cause if you don't...
You're dead. You hear me? Dead.
Disassembly of parts, body and otherwise, may be required. Good Guys is not responsible for maiming, dismemberment, amputation, laceration, strangulation, bodily harm, or death of any kind. Adult supervision recommended.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are back. We have flushed the fog away, much like the shit I just took. What were we talking about?
Oh, well, I'm just glad we ran the fog and we didn't get sucked into it. So I'm okay.
Well, Alan over here was talking about how the lessened maps on DVD.
They were half the maps they used to be.
Half the maps they used to be. Sorry.
Well, I mean, you gotta. Everybody's thinking about it from the survivor, kind of standpoint, right? I am not a killer by any means. I don't play killer whatsoever, unless I'm playing custom games with friends.
But he is a sympathizer.
Phoenix has seen that. Yeah, Phoenix has seen that.
Yes.
But I'm 100% a survivor. I've never played killer a day in my life, at least on open, lobbies. But I do understand the things that killers go through, because as a survivor, I got really good at the game pretty quickly, and I could see where the things that I have learned from watching videos or watching people's streams and the things that they do and just learning that way, I could see how survivors have an advantage. I mean, obviously there's 4 of you versus 1 person. That's one advantage. And then the second thing is that, the different perks that you could all use. You have a different combination of 16 perks throughout everybody. Generally, most people bring
And everybody
the same
runs
perks
the same 4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So every now and then you'll get a group of people where everybody will run pretty much the same build. And but there's a possibility that everybody's running different perks and you have a different setup for everybody. One could be running a sabotage build, one could be running a gen rush build, one could be running a flashlight build, one could be running just a blast mine build. It could be a multitude of different things where this killer has to go through and learn everybody's perks and learn everybody's things for him to have any type of advantage to go through.
And not to mention, if you bring the Swift aspect into it, that's a huge advantage to the survivors. Look, I'll agree.
Generally, in a Swift, when you're facing against the killer, the first 2 minutes of the match, most of everyone in your Swift already knows what the 4 perks the killer's running.
Right. Especially with us. Because we're on it, and knowing the things that like the knowledge that a lot of people bring to the Swifts that we run, we can usually have a really good idea, at least 3 perks by the time 2 minutes are into the game for sure.
I know what you're talking
I'll
about.
say
I just
until about a month ago, I never ran distortion. Never ran distortion whatsoever.
Mhm.
Never had a thought process to, never really cared to, because I thought it was a useless perk. Nowadays, distortion's almost in every one of my builds. It's ridiculous
W.
because distortion is needed.
Distortion is 100% needed, absolutely. And
And then before they
distortion-
nerfed Ultimate Weapon, Calm Spirit was a huge thing that everybody ran.
yeah, because I never used Calm Spirit, like hardly ever, and I'm a doctor.
Calm
main.
Spirit was a weak perk.
Right. It was strong against Doctor, but still, even if someone runs Calm Spirit with my Doctor, I still see their presence. Like it's not like I don't shock them; they just don't scream. So when I go to kill, I use certain things that like show my my presence in front of them or around them, so I know about where they're at. So it doesn't stop me from being able to see them. But with Ultimate
At this
Weapon,
point, Calm Spirit's only good against Infectious Fright.
right. And with Ultimate Weapon being changed, which I'm glad they did, because I mean, but again, I can see how people could complain. So yeah, that is like a survivor win right there. Ultimate Weapon being changed to where you don't need to waste 2 slots with Calm Spirit and
Yeah, you're basically bringing 2 perks for 2 perks that a killer's running,
right.
and which you're basically losing a slot of something that you could use for something else.
Correct. Which is unfortunate.
It was basically a base perk that everyone was running: Calm Spirit and Distortion. Everyone was running it for the last month and a half.
Oh, I know I was. 100%. I was one of those ones, and when I saw that Ultimate was getting nerfed, I was like, hallelujah. like 100%, because I like to run a certain 2 perks always stay in my build. And you guys know what they are. Like the ones that play with me, like normally, is Urban Evasion and Bond.
And Urban Evasion.
I keep them 100%. And so I've been using Background Player as of late because it really helps me with. At first, it was a little janky to get used to, because you gotta figure out how to run fast, stop, turn, and try to blind, and it's really hard to do that.
Speed is ridiculous.
It really is. Because but now that I'm used to it, dude, let me tell you something. Yesterday, when I stopped streaming, I got one of the best saves that I've ever gotten in my life. I think it's my number 1 save ever. I've got 2 of them yesterday, and one I'm going to tell you them really quick. The first one, we were on the Knights map, right? And you know how he has that platform that sits there, and so who was it?
Sometimes it has a window, sometimes it has a pallet.
Yes. So Z went down up there, right? And she went down in a location to where there was like two beams of wood in between her, and it was a hard blind to get. But the knight picked, the killer wasn't the knight. The killer picked her up right in that sweet spot. I ran up and got that blind, and I told her before that, I'd say that was probably the second best blind I've ever gotten, because it was crazy. Actually, it wasn't Z. It was Indigo. But anyways, so I got that blind, and I was just like, you got to be kidding me. That was crazy. All right, so fast forward a couple matches down. We go to my favorite map, and do you guys know which map that is? As a survivor, do you remember? Arson should know.
No, I don't really pay that
Not
much.
corn.
Okay, it's fine. It's friggin' Dead Dog.
Dead Dog Saloon, that's right.
Dead Dog Saloon, that's it.
So one of the people I was playing with, I can't remember exactly who it was, that went down on the saloon second floor, right by the railing outside. And I poked out to, and we were facing, who were we facing? We were facing a plague, I believe. I think. I'm not 100% sure. And so I I poked out like right underneath the like from a bush because I love my bush tactics. And I popped out of there and I looked up and I started to beam my flashlight and I didn't think I was getting it. And she jumped off she jumped off of the saloon and I blinded her in midair and she fell like literally pulled off her shoulder in midair. I have never seen a blind like that, and I cannot actually prove that I did it except for the people that were in there. However, the killer I wasn't streaming. The killer at the end of the match said that was crazy. like that was insane, that save. I was just like, yeah, that it was quite something. That was literally by far that was the best blind that I have ever gotten in Dead by Daylight, and I'm never going to be able to prove it to show anybody that blind. Oh, I was so upset, but yeah, I did that yesterday, and I could not believe how far I've come with a flashlight, because those who know me know I never used to use a flashlight. Like I was, I was always against them. I was like, nope, I'm never using flashlights. Well, I started to force myself to use them, and I said I'm going to start using them until I get good with it. And maybe that's why I still use them, because I don't feel like I'm all the way up to par on them, but I have gotten a heck of a lot better than what I used to be. and I have some moments, like some top notch moments.
I can attest to the journey that Phoenix has had with flashlights.
Yeah, it's been a long one. So...
it actually gave him a lot of reprieve and relief when they changed the flashlight timings. He started getting a lot better.
Yeah, that was a blessing. It was, but I liked it before they took it away, because I got a lot of my practice before they took it to where you couldn't blind a killer, or you could actually blind a killer when they're in the middle of kicking a pallet. So I got a lot of practice doing that. But when they took that away, I had to relearn how to do that, and which it didn't take much, because really you still have enough time to blind a killer in between. But yeah, that's true. Al is 100% correct. Like, my journey has been crazy with that flashlight. I just never pictured myself a couple years ago ever thinking of using a flashlight, and here I am now.
I remember you used to.
Well, you're breaking.
I remember you used to bring your flashlights. I remember you used to bring your flashlights, and then you would drop them in game for me because you never planned on using them.
Well,
he used to do that for me too.
Yeah. So when I started using them, I had probably 200 or 300 of each flashlight. That's literally, and I would just go through each one of them as I was starting to use them, and like, yeah, I had a ton of flashlights when I would drop flashlights for friends. I used to bring them for Confused Zombie all the time if he needed them, so like it was just it's crazy, the change in my gameplay that has occurred over the past couple of years.
I'd like to go back to the whole background player thing. When that perk came out, you know how scary that is for killers?
Dude, I
just want everybody to think about that for a second. 200% movement speed. How scary that is? Someone drops on a pallet and you have to look around for 5 minutes to make sure there's nobody there, and then someone comes out and fucking be halfway across the map to hit somebody with the Palestine. You know how ridiculous that is?
I use that just to mess with them. Like I think you've seen it, where I just run right by them, like.
I use background player when I play a sabotage build.
Yeah,
because I run breakout and I'll run next to them and I'll drop the hook, and then I'll still run next to them with 200% speed. Still, it's ridiculous.
Right, and that's
I could literally just circle the killer 3 or 4 times before I even lose the speed.
Right, and that's the thing is, like, when you can outrun the blight, like, it's crazy. And I always make the noise when I do it, like, always.
Yeah, I know you do.
Like, always. But yeah, I've grown to like background player a lot. But there was a learning curve to it, big time, because getting that much speed.
I mean, that speed is just not regular. No. You're not used to it.
No, but when you use it and get an amazing save, oh my gosh! Or throw that pallet to be able to. You may not be able to blind them, but you can run up there and get that pallet save. It's just like something really nice. Like I'm so glad I run that perk now. But yeah,
Or when a killer is looking at his his FOV, right? He's picking up someone like against a wall, and all you hear is you don't actually see the survivor, but all you hear is tink 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 tink, and the flashbang goes off, and you're just like, what the hell? Like, where did he even come from?
oh my!
I'm really good at flashbanging the people that are picked up, not so much the killer.
I can attest to that too. Oh my gosh, but yeah, what about you guys? Do you guys have any moments that stand out? Like, luckily mine was fresh. Mine was just yesterday. I had two really good moments. The only thing other than that I can say is the only reason I love like the Saul map is because I love to watch that whole, of course, playing with you guys know the hole that's right above the bathroom. Like, I love to bait killers over there to where they fall down the hole and then they look over like, oh crap, he's right there. And I'm like, ah! I do a little of that and then I clip it usually.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that,
I do that at Midwich.
Do you really?
Yeah, when you go into the bathroom on the second floor, and then you run towards the hole, and then you slow down and walk, and then go into the stall right behind the hole. They think you walk down, and they'll just jump down.
Yeah,
and you just look at them.
Yep,
because they keep walking.
Like, haha. So anyway,
also do it at RPD in the hole in the library.
Oh yeah, that's a good one because there's a good spot you can hide over to the other side, like over by the books. If you can do it,
there are no good spots on RPD.
If you can time it. So anyways, back to what I was saying. Do you guys have any standout moments that when you while playing DBD that just completely stand out?
There was this one moment a long time ago.
Tell us.
Well, it was early on when it first came out. Me and my buddies were playing it. This was before they just jumped ship because, that's good for them. That's their mental health. They got out while the getting was good. But, we were playing. I remember this was back on the Macmillan Estate. And it was a Bubba.
Macmillan Estate. Sorry, I had to do that. Go ahead.
It was a Bubba. It was like, we were doing pretty good. Our random died. There's only 3 of us and 1 random. Our random died, but we got all the gens done, and we were booking it for the exit. And when I opened the door, I turn around, and all of a sudden, Bubba's right there. And my friend, I don't know why, but he was standing behind me a good ways from the gate. He gets downed, and then I run for the door. My other friend was there, and he dove for like bushes or something. I don't know what, but he hid somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, crawl to me. I'll see if I could distract him. But we forgot to realize that he had a Mori, and he got Mori'd right in front of me while he was just screaming. And my other friend who was hiding, like, he was still. I don't even know where he went. I think he went across the map. That's how that's how jumpy we were with this game at the time. So like he was getting Mori'd in front of me, and I'm screaming, he's screaming. I just run for the gate and I leave. That was a really great moment early on when we were first playing.
Oh my gosh. And see, you know what? Early on, the Moris used to be so much more threatening to me. And this is gonna
they were just unexpected sometimes. Like...
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, I'm gonna go back on what Al was talking about earlier on. The thing with the Moris is look, I agree in equality when it comes to DBD, 100%. What I don't agree in is the tunneling, camping, all that crap that happens, the stream sniping and all that stuff. But when it comes to the Mori system was great the way it was. And like Al said, he don't remember this because it wasn't around when he first started playing. But I remember a time back in my day that the Mori system, you used to be able to get Mori'd after the first hook. And that would, like, the surprise of that he had the Mori, like, well, which you knew, but like it really terrified you to get down on that after that first hook, because you had to like really be careful and play a better game. But now I can understand the complaining about that, because you know the Moris aren't as special as they used to be, just because of that. You know, they literally just, you know, you hook them twice, then you have to down them the last time, and then
They're dead either way.
Right, they're dead either way for the
Unless
most part.
Unless you're playing Mikey.
Right. Well, unless you're playing Mikey, but there's still rules to that, you know.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and you know, and that's the same thing with like Pyramid Head. You know, you could say the same thing for him. But still, if you get that Mori, it's not as good as a full Mori. You know, it's just a freaking big old sword to your head, to your body, and you're gone. You know, but like that, yeah, they should have kept the Mori the same. And just to do the flip flop for the Survivor, they should have kept the hatches the same. The hatch system I loved, and when word got out they were changing the hatch to where it was the last survivor could find it, our group started playing nothing but keys and hatch spawns. And we would go and we'd get our 4 gens or whatever done, and we'd go to the hatch, find the hatch, because back in the day, like, I don't know, you may be able to remember this, Flerp or Arson, they had it to where you could find the hatch before it spawns. Because but they changed it since. So, and what I mean by finding the hatch before it spawns, because all you'd have to do is walk over where the hatch is, and you'd be levitating. You'd be floating to where the hatch was. So you'd like walk onto the hatch. So you'd know where the hatch is going to be.
That's just behavior coding.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. I agree. But it was like that for a long time, you know? But yeah, I think they should have kept the hatch system the same way, because it really did nothing for the keys. Because yeah, the keys are good to like be able to find the killer, you know, because the add-ons. And yeah, you know, if you do play a hatch offering and have a key, you can reopen that hatch. But you know,
oh yeah, I love playing hide the key.
Oh yeah, well, we used to bring in 4 of them, right? All of us, and we drop them. We drop them around the kill shack. So like each corner of the kill shack, we'd have it. So if we literally, because just in case, because you see 4 keys coming in, what do you think is going to be played? You know, I mean, back then it was going to be either probably Franklin's demise. So you know, we'd go over there and drop them, and then just go get other things and do our thing. And then once we open enough, if somebody died and we got enough generators done, we'd go find the hatch, and then boom, we'd get out. And we did that so many times, like so many times. But yeah, I do think that they should have kept that the same, and they should have kept the Mori system the same, because now the Moris are just like, oh yay, I get to see, you know, more of an in-depth death than hanging on a hook. That's pretty much it. So,
well, what did you think about what they were planning to do with the Moris?
Refresh.
When they thought about changing it again, where only the last person alive was going to be automatically Mori'd if the gates weren't open.
Really? I don't like
that. They played around with that idea on the PBE probably about, I'd say like 10, 11 months ago. It was like, if everybody else was out and the killer got you down, or if everybody else was dead and the killer got you down, the last animation that you would see is you and the killer would move to the center of the map where there's nothing, in the way.
Yeah.
And it was an automatic Mori.
So if the killer downs you and you're the last one there, yes, yep. I think that would have been actually kind of cool. Other than that, you know, I know a lot of people cannot stand Moris. Like, I know people that'll DC or say, let me die on hook because I don't want to get Mori. I mean, I've done it myself. I'm guilty.
The only killer I hate Mori is Clown.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Ugh.
I think that's the only killer that I hate when they Mori.
You don't want him to have your fingers?
No, I don't want him. And I don't know if you noticed, but the finger that he cuts off is different, whether if you're a girl survivor or a boy survivor.
Yes, I did know that actually.
Doesn't
Yeah,
he look at all the same?
yeah, he's gonna make Kentucky Fried Fingers anyway, so his bucket of fingers.
Either way.
So it is what it is. But yeah. So what? Anybody else like Flerp? Do you have any stories that stand out?
So much, mainly just playing hide the key was a lot of fun. Because when they ruined Hatch, it got boring. And it kind of made like, if the killer finds Hatch at the beginning, it was always fun to just like drop a key right when you start.
Right.
And then as soon as they close it, you just sneak up and you reopen the hatch because they're not going to pay attention to it.
Right.
But no, like, I don't necessarily have any like super fond moments. I mean, I used to, I quite regularly, if I'm playing custom games, I'll make sure that if my girlfriend's being the killer, I'll take her to Gideon Meat Plant and drop all 27 pallets on her. But
that was supposed to change too, by the way. It hasn't, I don't
As you
think
should.
yet.
Yeah, game was supposed to change.
I thought it did.
They're all still there that I know of. I've got every pallet.
Yeah, the pallets were supposed to be significantly less.
And they're not. They're still the same. And we were there yesterday, so it hasn't changed.
Yeah, if you go on the map with windows of opportunity, you're gonna have a good time.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I just like if I'm playing solo queue, that's like my main build.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, but Windows of Opportunity is the number 1 played perk in the game right now.
And see, I never use it. Ever.
It's the number 1 played perk.
I mean, I have every perk unlocked. I just don't ever use that. But yeah, that's pretty cool. What about you, Al? Do you have any matches that stand out?
I mean, the only 2 things that I think were pretty cool is when I first started playing, Dead by Daylight. Like I said, I watched a lot of videos, did a lot of research and stuff on how to run killers and how to survive and all that good stuff. And I watched these 3 YouTube streamers, and they're also streaming. They also Twitch streamers. I don't know if any of you have heard of them, but probably they're pretty big. Odstava and Skirms and Nameti. They're pretty much all UK except for Skirms. Skirms plays here in America.
Mm-hmm.
But I watched a lot of video and a lot of stream of them because they were pretty good survivors. Ostava is actually a killer main, but he does play survivor very often. And the bigger, I guess, DBD community have different names for different maneuvers that they do. Like FOV techs or DJ techs and things like that, or locker techs and things like that. So, about the only things that I think were pretty cool is what they call a CJ tech is you drop say a survivor's dead on a pallet or down on a pallet. You drop the pallet, the survivor goes on the side of the killer. You vault the pallet to make the killer pick up the survivor. You vault back, and then you flashlight save. And then the other one is a locker save is when someone gets grabbed out of a locker, you can run by after the animation, right before the animation to close the locker is. You can either drop a flashbang or you can shine a light into the, for flashlight save, and you'll get the save right out of the locker.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew about those.
Yeah, those are the only, I've done one of each of those. I've never tried to do more. I do have one that was pretty cool. I jumped off of Dead Dog Saloon and flashlight saved. On the way down.
Oh, on the way down? That's really cool.
They were on the ground picking up a survivor, and I jumped off the top, the second story, and I was shining a flashlight on the way down, and I got the save as I touched the ground.
Wow, that takes a lot of concentration to do that, because wow, that's pretty cool.
It's about the only ones that I have that are notable. I mean, I have some cool things that I guess I've done playing with Phoenix before that he has clips of, and from me saving him or him saving me, whichever the two. And
We've
I
done
mean,
that a
that's about
lot.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I'm just saying, I've had so many memorable hours of DBD playing with just you three alone. I remember first time I met Al, and playing with him and Zombie.
I was a baby.
Yeah, you were, but you were still good and very knowledgeable. Like you did some training. But we'd have a lot of times our fourth would vary, and we'd get like Sarah in there sometimes, and I always love, like, Sarah is one that will probably never touch the game again, but she may surprise me because she has hopped in on occasion. But I always loved playing with her because she brought so much fun to the game. Because just the way she acts and stuff, it's just, she didn't take it too seriously until she got a killer that, like, the first time she seen that the Legion had a bunny outfit. I've got that on clip actually, and she is terrified of the Easter Bunny or bunnies in general, I guess. And she's seen that, and she was like, nope, nope. Same with clowns, and stuff like that. But I have a lot of fond memories of playing DBD with her. So, but what's next, Arson? What do you want to talk about?
Oh yeah, I forgot I was the host.
Sorry.
Anyways, well, we've gotten general opinions out of the way. Let's talk spin-offs. I know there's a from the creators of Until Dawn, we bring you the casting of Frank Stone, a decision-based game. I forgot what the category is. It's like
An adventure game.
yeah, it's a side-scroll 2D platform.
It's up there with Mario.
No, it's like it is like Until Dawn. You make your decisions, stupid or logical. Your characters survive, characters die, and you get an ending depending on the choices you've made throughout the game and who's died and who's lived. And that's basically what it's going to be. It's going to center in the universe. Well, not in the universe, but a story around it.
Right.
I think in the real world, right? Before, who knows? This might lead up to a new killer, even, which is probably
It could
Frank
be,
Stone
yeah,
himself.
honestly.
There's that. There's also the a new co-op game that they are doing. I forgot what it was, but they are doing that as well. And of course, the movie. Decide
The
which one you guys want
movie.
to talk about first.
I say
But you can't forget about the
Hooked on
Dead
You.
by Daylight simulation.
Hooked
Dating
on You, dating sim.
Well, the
Hooked
thing
on
is,
You DVD.
damn, no, you're right. That actually might be canon.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, but Hooked on You is kind of already a set in stone thing, and I don't think who here has played it? Be honest.
I don't even own it.
No, I've
so.
never played it. Yeah.
Okay then, so if none of us have played it, then there's no reason to talk about it.
I like the outfits that were brought into DBD from them. Like the hunter.
Yeah, I do like those. Yeah.
Unless
the
there's like
spirits.
unless there's any lore implications, like anything like
I don't see how there could be lore from that though.
No, yeah, I
Well,
don't think so either.
I guess aside from learning more about the characters, maybe I don't think there's anything else to be talked about there.
Can't even
Yeah, I think it's
clap
just a
their
platform to
cheeks.
bring
0
people
out of 10
to-
bad game.
It's just a platform to get people to play Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, that was basically it.
I would like to talk about the casting of Frank Stone a little bit, because it's going to be exciting when it comes out, because I do believe it's going to bring in a new chapter where these characters from the casting of Frank Stone are going to be in Dead by Daylight, 100%. There's no way that they're not going to bring them in after releasing this. It may not be, granted, I don't think it's going to be immediate, but they're going to let it have time, because I will have this game. It definitely, I will have it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Behavior is publishing the game, so I have no doubt that this is going to be in Dead by Daylight sooner or later.
Yeah. And like I said, it may not be sooner, but I don't think it'll be later either. I think it'll be maybe a few months after it comes out, so it gets a little, hits the ground running a little bit. Maybe people beat it, and then it starts to like die down, and then they bring out this chapter to revitalize it. You know what I mean? Or something like that. I don't know how they'll do that, but
there are quite still a bit of people playing Until Dawn, and I forgot what the other one they made the Quarry, I think.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh yeah, there's quite a lot of replayability in games like those because there are extra lore bits, different choices, and of course the endings. So I mean, I'd say once a game like that comes out, it's gonna be quite a while before people stop talking about it because this seems like a game that is very obviously lore focused.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not gonna shove it in your face. This is basically like a self-contained story because the fog and the realm and all that. It's a big conspiracy basically. What with like the cult, the order, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. And it is releasing this year, so
yeah, the big lore bits are probably going to be hidden, and people are probably gonna have to look for it. But it will be a fun little hunt to finally find out more. Because Dead by Daylight, the story is one that I am interested in.
And they've got a lot of great stories and lore about every single character. I love how they do that, how they set up every original character, and even the licensed ones. They tell how they got to the fog, but
First one they did was for Bill.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is that they really did great with that, and it would be a shame to let it die there, So
wonder when they explain the entity.
Well, we all know that's Nia, so
that'd be such a twist if they actually made that canon. Nia was the
right.
Dang, Phoenix, we'd have to kill you then.
Oh, the entity is actually Jane Romero's ass cheeks.
And when they're clapping, it's actually you going up into the entity, Wait, that's
I'm not gonna lie. Jane Romero's ass claps as she runs should alert the killer like crows do, but
they should set off the perk too, Spies from the Shadows. This constant explosion noise in the distance that you see.
That's funny. But yeah, that's funny. But I mean, speaking of that though, going from the Frank Stone to jumping over, let's just randomly jump to the movie aspect to it. They've got so much amazing, so many different amazing stories. I know they've got a movie that they're going to be doing, and I know it's was a Blumhouse or Bloomhouse. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's Blumhouse, I think.
Blumhouse.
Blumhouse Productions and
Blumkin House.
And Atomic Monster are going to be doing these the film adaptation. And I was just telling these guys when Flerp needed a break that we I think it'd be amazing if they did DVD origins. And I've mentioned this on stream before. If they take center it on the original killers and do a movie about the background history of the hillbilly or the background history of the trapper,
Wraith or
spirit Wraith. The one I'd really be interested to see is the Hag, because the Hag story is so horribly depressing. Oh my gosh, such a good person.
Have you read each of the lore things on DVD?
I've read all of the originals. Yes, I've not read all of them recently, but man, some of them are just so the spirit, man. Oh, and you could tie that into 2 movies, with the spirit, because you've got her grandfather or great grandfather or whatever he is.
Yeah.
So you can tie them in together and have a couple movies just set on that. But I think that would be amazing, like to have that, like what happened to make the Doctor break? What happened? Of course, the Doctor was just a horrible person in general. Like he wasn't one that was like a good.
Realistically,
Do what?
you could do like a TV show for Dead by Daylight.
And that's what I was thinking too, is like you could have like a limited series of like just episodes. Maybe have those, like get your DVD movie out, and if it does well, have like, my biggest fear is when they bring out this DVD movie, it's going to be horrible. Because based on video game movies, don't always have the greatest track record. Some of them do,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. But don't even get Flerp started on Resident Evil. Because
Do not.
I'd say Last of Us was pretty good.
The Last of Us was phenomenal.
Oh, The Last of Us. I thought you said the last movie. Like, I was like, oh,
No.
yeah, The Last of Us. Like, yeah, certain ones. I heard that the Halo series is doing well, and stuff like that. But when you're talking about, do what?
Never mind. Just keep going. What you doing?
I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But I've only heard. I hear they're coming out with. Never. I was gonna make a joke, but I can't even make a joke about it. I was gonna say I hear they're coming out with Fortnite the series. Like I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
Good. You probably threw up in your mouth a little bit when you said that, didn't you?
I totally did. I totally did. But yeah, I really do believe that. Like Behavior, if anybody from Behavior actually decides, so you know what, I'm bored enough, I'm going to listen to this podcast on DVD. I feel like you guys should do some origin stuff about the killers. So, because a lot of granted, the reading in there is great. Some of it's long-winded, but it's really good reads. But bring that from paper to like movie magic.
The screen, yeah.
Yes, would be awesome. As long as they did it right. I think that would be amazing. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
They could have a TV series for each of the killers. Honestly, origin to, how they became, part of the Fog.
Right, and they could also have an origin story of how the Fog came to be, kind of like we were just talking about.
Yeah, that too.
I think that would be amazing, because DVD is not going anywhere. Let's face it.
And honestly, if they did something like that, it would give more attention to DVD, and they'd probably get more people playing the game.
Well, and you hear people talk about like, oh, I wonder when they're going to bring out DVD 2. I'm like, dude, they freaking overhauled the game with the graphics to this is basically DVD 2, because they went from the original style. You guys, I don't know, Al, were you around before they reworked all the maps?
No.
So the original like graphics of all the characters and stuff, were different. I'm sure you've seen the videos and stuff. And when
I've seen some videos.
And they overhauled it, and it looks great. Like they did really good. The gens got like 15,000% bigger, but I mean, it was, oh my gosh, do you remember when they first changed it over? And you'd get on that gen and it'd be like, do you guys remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. And then of course, like, that's not going to alert the killer, so they took that away, thankfully. But gosh. Oh, that was a horrid thing. But yeah, I mean, they overhauled the game to make it like into today, like better graphics, and I appreciate the work that they put into this, because it takes a lot of work for that, and for them to turn around and change it all up to make it relevant and make sure people play their game, and they've done a good job with that, So
Awkward silence and twos.
very awkward. Like, no, I don't know.
All right.
I mean, it's just been me and Phoenix talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just I don't have much to say. I came into this just expecting bloodshed. And there
Well,
probably will be from people who come in here and disagree with everything we say.
agreed. You know, I hope we do. You
I mean,
guys, if
I don't
if
think
you,
they'll disagree with everything, but I mean, everybody's
Oh,
got their
you
own
sound
opinion.
sure yourself.
Just, just like everybody's got their own asshole.
yeah.
Everybody just loves to hold hands in this community.
Oh
But
yeah,
just,
they all
Oh
love
yeah,
each
there's
other.
no toxicity.
yeah, none at all, none at all. Well, just know this, guys. We will have our comment section open up for you guys just to say whatever you want, and then block you. No, I'm just kidding.
Delete all the comments.
But yeah, I don't know. Look, I'm just saying, DBD is one of my most cherished games. Obviously, I've got more hours in that than anything. I love to play it under the right circumstances. I don't like to play solo matches. If it's up to me playing solo matches, then I'd either not play the game, or if I'm deciding to stream it, I'm just gonna play a few rounds of killer while people get into my stream and be like, "Oh, hey, let's play." And it always works out that way for me. Like I always get at least a group of two, like two extra people or a whole team, or more. Like Al said, like people waiting. So, but I
Yeah.
really love
I
the
remember,
game.
I remember one time you had another 4 people waiting, so we all just did our own lobby.
Yeah. We've split like that before. Yeah, it's like let's just split and we'll get more people in. Yeah, that's happened a few times. But I always give people in my Discord like number one, spots. And then of course I always give Maya like number one over above everybody else. Like, hey, if she comes in, one of you guys have to leave. Sorry. Arson's like, I'm out. I'm good. No. Like,
I always take the chance to dip
yes, you do.
Arson
whenever the
loves
opportunity
DVD.
arises.
But
He loves DVD.
but the thing is, as much as Arson complains about it, he is really good at it. Like he is like probably one of the best players I play with. He does a really good job. And I appreciate that he will come to play this game with me, even though he's not a big fan of it. That's just like, Flerp. Flerp, freaking, he's phenomenal at the game as well. And the thing is with Flerp is
I wouldn't go that far.
well, I'm just saying I would, but in the same sense, I'll go so far as to say Flerp has literally taken a game that was uninstalled and reinstalled it just for me. So and he's told me that. So I'm confident in saying that because he installed DBD 100% for me. And there's no other. That's just it's so flattering that people are willing to play this with me, even though sometimes it gets to the point. Because let's face it, it can be a bit much, and I'm being very, very calm on me saying that because it could be a lot. I've raged so much at this game that like it's unbecoming of me because like you get me into a chat with the toxic killer. Every one of you have seen it. Every single one of you have seen me reply to toxic killers or people that like stream snipe.
What is a toxic killer to you?
It just depends. It depends on how they act in the in-game chat, or depends on how they do their gaming. Like if they.
I've seen you rage for a tunneling killer. I've seen you rage for a slugging killer. I've seen you rage for all sorts of killers.
So I consider those
are just different avenues that killers use to win.
I agree, but I also consider those kind of like a toxic trait. Just like if as a survivor, if you're just sitting there teabagging like crazy, or overly blinding a killer. I've done it before, so I can't say I haven't. Just sit there and keep blinding a killer. And those traits can be considered toxic. If you leave people slugged on the ground, yes, it's a way to win, but it doesn't make it fun for anybody if you slug and just sit there.
It's fun for the killer.
It is, yeah. I don't know how, because they usually deep hit probably, but those traits right there to me are like nothing but toxicity. Like if you sit there and like camp people, or you know, go out of your way to know how long it takes for your bar while you're being camped to go up now, and you go out of that bar just enough to where it won't rise, that's toxic behavior, and you know it.
And it's just technically it's quote unquote what they call it proxy camping, but
Well,
it's
yeah.
the name that they call it is bullshit.
Well, I agree.
But
Yeah, I agree. But I'm being nice and saying more toxic. You know, tunneling. Like, dude, you get tunneled so much when we play. And
I am fine with it. You
I
know,
know
like
you
I
are.
am fine with it
I'm
because
not
I know
though.
it is a way for because when it's like I said, it's 4 against 1. When they can get an easier down on a survivor who is already injured, they don't have to get them from a starting point to an injured point to a downed point.
Yeah.
They can just go from injured to down. They don't have to do much besides get one hit. Unless that survivor is juicing, like sometimes
Right.
it depends on what map we're at. Unless that survivor is absolutely phenomenal, they can get quick downs that way, and then you eliminate the one extra person, so it's easier for you to play the game.
Right. And I get that because and we've said this before. That's a skill issue. And it really is. Like, I've seen people
I
out
understand it
there.
might be a skill issue, but it's still a viable option.
Oh, I mean, you're right. It is. Um, but when it comes to so like for
It's viable, but it's not respectable.
right, we all want to have fun in the game, and I get it. It's you put people in a match where it's 4v1. There's not everybody's going to agree. Hardly anybody's ever going to agree. Even people I play with, like people in the past that I've played with that have toxic behaviors that have been called out by numerous people that says I will not play with that person. I flat out have had to like escort people out of my Discord because of their play style, and then that's not just in DBD, that's in every game. Like the troll people, another thing in DBD is the hacking. Like I've come across probably in my time 4, maybe 5 hackers in the time I've played, and then that's not just like killer, that's survivor too. I've seen people where we just got into a match and a survivor touch a gen, and yeah, well, I mean, an instant gen pop on one just alone, and then I've had the whole 5 gens pop, and I'm like, what in the world, And
Yeah, it's like we step on the ground and all the gens pop and the doors open. I'm like, what the heck?
yeah. So and stuff like that, like I am not for that. It's ridiculous. The community is toxic enough as it is. Because especially in the game chat, like I've seen so much from both sides. I've provided some, but I've only provided with good reason. For most time,
But
most of the
you
time.
also can't say. I mean, there is toxic killers for the the excessive tunneling or the excessive face camping and things like that. But you can say, at least in positivity, that behavior understands and sees these situations. That's why they have given us the the anti-camping bar.
Yeah.
Yes, they have kind of finagled their way into it, and you just go a certain distance where it stops moving.
Right.
And then you have the the anti-tunneling. They gave us free BT now. We don't have to run borrow time like we used to. Now we have free BT for 8 seconds when we get off a hook. So I mean, as you can see, behavior is noticing these things and still trying to give survivors another edge, even though the killers are also getting edges.
Yeah.
Survivor, they're still trying to give survivors a chance.
And I do see that 100%. I do see that. And the fact that the killer will wait out BT, they'll sit there and count, and then just like they'll know.
Yeah, so that is a teammate issue. That is not a killer issue.
Yeah,
killers are going to do that either way. They're going to wait out that 8 seconds. That's just what they're going to do.
Right.
And if you have proper teammates that when they take you off the hook, they body block or protect, or if they see this coming, or seeing this happening, they can protect you in other ways. Or now that they have increased DS, Decisive Strike is now 5 seconds instead of 3.
I just wish they'd
I
have that
understand
animation with it. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, the old animation, yeah.
Yes.
And then now they have they did lower adrenaline, but that's because adrenaline, honestly, that 5 seconds was a little ridiculous because you could literally run away and then still walk at the pace that you would normally run and lose a killer because he wouldn't be able to see your footsteps.
And I kind of agree with being hooked. While you're hooked, if adrenaline kicks in, I kind of agree.
I agree with that too. And being on the shoulder of the killer, if you get dropped, then you.
And what?
I think when they first came out with the. What's up?
No,
you cut out mid.
Yeah, it went completely silent for like a few seconds.
Oh yeah. When it first came out with I did hate the fact that DS is not a thing when the doors are open or the last generator is finished. I think that's kind of stupid, but
I do too.
That was because people were abusing DS and doing it on purpose.
Oh yeah,
at the end of the game,
and that's the toxic community, and that and 100%, you get those toxic swifts, man, and. Like we've stated, I'm a gentle killer. Al says I'm too gentle, apparently, because I play good doctor. And for that, like, if people tick me off while like they're trying to be toxic in the match, I've had it to where they had 3 gens done and I 4K'd them because like they were just acting like complete idiots. And but again, I'm not saying I'm the greatest killer because I'm not. I'm far from it. I'm a survivor main, but I do know my doctor, and I'm pretty good with him. So, but yeah, other than that, I don't know. Back to you, Arson.
What are we done?
I don't know. Does anybody else got any final statements? Because we could sit here and talk for hours about this, go back and forth about things. We'll probably have a part 2 coming up down the road. But for now, what about you guys? You guys got any closing statements before we go?
All I can say is, all in all, I love DBD. Like Phoenix said, we could talk about this all day. And I did take a break from DBD for about 3 or 4 months.
You did,
but then I came back and still love the game. I didn't take a break because I wanted to. I took a break because I'm in the military. I have a lot of other things going on in my life. Like Phoenix said, we love this game, or at least me and Phoenix do. I know Arson and
I hate you.
Flerp have other thought process on that.
They've
And I can play this game. Yeah, right. I hate playing solo queue. I do it for the benefit of myself, I guess. It makes me better if I play solo queue. But I do love playing with my friends.
Yeah, same. What were you going to say, Flerp?
I love this game. I hate it. I hate it at the same time. It's kind of like marriage after 40 years. Like, it's there.
Yeah.
But it's a great game, but I have my gripes with it. But I feel like everybody, kind of has their own gripes with everything. So at the end of the day, I think Behavior's done a great job of creating a product that has withstood the test of time that games normally stay relevant.
8 years is a long time.
And it doesn't seem like that momentum's going anywhere, so, more power to them.
And that's the thing is, it used to be on Unreal Engine 4 and now it's being updated to Unreal Engine 5. So, or already has been. So, like, it's literally staying relevant, like 100%. Like, not only relevant, but still at the top of its game. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. No pun intended. Well, maybe a little pun intended. We don't have Zombie here today, so not very many puns, which I'm sure Flerp is happy. And maybe a little
I actually miss them.
See? And to close us out there, because I feel like I've put enough of my opinion in here, except for, like, thank goodness, it's no longer on Stadia. Oh, wait. Never mind. Never mind. I that and I can't stand Android or like the mobile. I can't stand DBD mobile. But other than that, we'll have Arson close this out and tell us what his final moments. Like Jerry Springer back in the day, and we'll go from there.
Like a wise man once said, there is no problem. But everybody saw that and decided to make one. That is Dead by Daylight. Thanks for joining us. I had nothing to say because honestly, whenever I talk about this game, I blink out. The only reason I even play this game anymore is because of everybody here.
Yeah, exactly. I play it because
whenever
my
I
friends play.
whenever I try and play alone, it's miserable. Whenever I try and play killer, I get bullied. It's I'm just one guy caught in this vast battlefield, and I don't want to pick sides, so both sides hate me equally.
But
So
Jesus.
I heart you, Arson.
that's
That came from the heart there, Arson.
Yeah, yeah.
It came from the hearts and
thanks for joining us. This is probably our longest episode yet, clocking in at nearly 2 hours. Am I right?
Yep.
So, if you somehow made it through the end of this without having a seizure, a migraine, or a trip to the emergency room, we thank you for your time.
or a
We've come
boner
to the end of
lasting
our
longer than
time.
4 hours.
Yeah, consult your doctor.
Yes.
We've come to the end of our time, so check the links. They have all of Phoenix's things there, and more things about the
And
podcast.
the podcast. There we go.
That's it. It's over. We'll see you next time. I have been your gracious non-existent host. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.